If you're running more than a few VMs in Azure and wondering why your outbound connections randomly fail, I guarantee you're hitting SNAT port exhaustion, and the fix takes about 3 minutes to implement.
Wait, outbound connections can just fail? I thought Azure handled all that networking stuff automatically.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Network Ninja Cloudcast. I'm your Network Ninja, and today I've got my favorite curious developer with me.
Hey everyone, I'm definitely curious today because I've actually seen those random connection timeouts and had no idea what caused them.
Perfect, because today we're going to demystify Azure NAT Gateway and why it's the solution to one of the most frustrating problems in Azure networking.
Okay, so back up a second. What's actually happening when my VM tries to reach the internet? Like, when my app calls an external API?
Great question. So your VM has a private IP address, right? Something in the 10.0.0.0 out of 8 range typically. But the internet doesn't know how to route back to private addresses. They're not globally routable per RFC 1918. So Azure has to translate that private IP to a public IP. That's SNAT, Source Network Address Translation.
Okay, that makes sense. It's like when I send a letter from my apartment, the return address has to be the building's main address, not just my unit number.
Exactly right. And here's where it gets interesting. When Azure does this translation using a load balancer's front-end IP, which is the default for many setups, the theoretical port range is about 64,000 ports per public IP. But here's the catch. Azure doesn't give each VM access to all those ports. Instead, it pre-allocates a fixed number of ports to each VM based on your backend pool size.
Wait, so the ports get divided up? How does that allocation work?
It scales inversely with pool size. If you have 50 or fewer VMs, each one gets 1024 ports. With 51 to 100 VMs, it's still 1024 ports each. But once you hit 101 to 200 VMs, each one only gets 512 ports. The larger your pool, the fewer ports per VM. Now imagine each VM is running a microservice that makes 50 concurrent API calls to external services. You do the math.
Oh no. So the connections just start failing when you run out?
Exactly. You'll see connection timeouts, TCP/RST packets, and your application logs will show errors connecting to external endpoints. The frustrating part is it's intermittent because ports get recycled after Azure's SNAT idle timeout, which defaults to 4 minutes. That's actually different from the TCP time_wait period, which is typically around 60 seconds. Azure holds on to those port mappings longer to handle delayed packets.
So where does NAT Gateway come in?
NAT Gateway is Azure's dedicated, fully managed service specifically designed for outbound connectivity. Here's the key difference. A single NAT Gateway public IP gives you 64,512 SNAT ports per destination endpoint, and you can attach up to 16 public IPs for greater capacity and source IP diversity.
Per destination? So if I'm calling api.stripe.com and api.sendgrid.com, those are separate pools?
You've got it. The port allocation is per unique destination, defined by the destination IP and port combination. So you're not competing for the same pool across all your external dependencies. Plus, NAT Gateway handles the port allocation dynamically, no pre-allocation needed. Now, there is one important limit to know. NAT Gateway caps you at 50,000 concurrent flows to any single destination IP address, regardless of how many public IPs you attach. But across all your different destinations combined, you can scale up to about 1 million total concurrent flows.
That's way better than the load balancer approach. What's the catch?
Cost and architecture constraints. NAT Gateway runs about $0.045 per hour, which works out to roughly $32 per month, plus $0.045 per gigabyte of data processed. Those are typical US region prices, so definitely check the Azure pricing calculator for your specific region. And here's the critical part. NAT Gateway is associated with a subnet, not individual VMs. Every resource in that subnet will use the NA gateway for outbound traffic. You configure it in the Azure portal under your virtual network, then subnets, then select the subnet and choose your NAT gateway.
So I can't have some VMs use NAT Gateway and others use something else in the same subnet?
Correct. If you need different outbound behaviors, you need different subnets. This is actually a common architectural consideration. People put VMs with different outbound requirements in the same subnet, deploy NAT Gateway, and then realize some workloads needed different egress paths. For example, you might have VMs that need to go through a network virtual appliance for inspection alongside VMs that just need fast direct outbound access. Those need separate subnets.
What's the other big mistake you see?
Not monitoring for exhaustion before problems occur. Azure Monitor exposes several key metrics for NAT Gateway: total SNAT connection count, SNAT connection count broken down by state, dropped packets, bytes, and packets. Here's the thing though, there's no built-in percentage metric that tells you you're at 80% capacity. The most actionable alert is on dropped packets. If that metric starts climbing above zero, you're hitting limits and need to add more public IPs or investigate your connection patterns.
Okay, let me make sure I've got this. Private IPs can't route on the internet, so Azure translates them using SNAT. The default load balancer approach pre-allocates limited ports per VM based on pool size. NAT Gateway gives you dedicated, scalable port allocation per destination with dynamic assignment, and you assign it at the subnet level. But watch that 50,000 flow limit per destination IP.
Perfect summary. And my pro tip, if you're running Kubernetes on AKS, NAT Gateway is almost mandatory for production workloads. The pod density means you'll exhaust load balancer SNAT ports incredibly fast.
This explains so many random issues I've debugged. I'm setting this up today.
That's it for today's episode. If this saved you from a 3 a.m. outage, hit that like button and subscribe for more cloud networking deep dives.
And share this with your team before they learn about SNAT exhaustion the hard way.
Thanks for watching the Network Ninja Cloudcast. See you in the next one.